Hi guys, 18 Dapper here and welcome to this episode of Comment of the Week. Let's get the video started. So guys, welcome to this episode of Comment of the Week. A couple of comments to go through from the previous week's videos on the channel. Thank you for all the comments that I've received. Enjoyed reading them, enjoyed replying to them. So the first one is from Charlie Charnock. This was on the Doncaster Rovers FIFA 20 Career Mode Season 2 Episode 4 video. Thoughts on the January new boys so far. So, for me, only really seen Okenabirhie and Cole. Seen a little bit of Ramsey, but I don't think it's fair to say too much about him because I've only really seen him fleetingly on the 2 home games. He's looked lively. And from what I saw at the Tranmere game, he looked a very, very good player. So looking forward to seeing more of him. But seeing a lot more of Cole and Okenabirhie. And for me, I prefer Okenabirhie out of the 2. I think Cole is a big, strong striker and holds it up well. But for me, just a little bit too clumsy and not adding the impact that I thought he would do. Okenabirhie, on the other hand, started very, very well, but let himself down against Gillingham with an elbow. Looking back at it, still not sure if it was deliberate or not. I don't think it was a red card, but I'm only watching from the highlights and it doesn't really show too much. It might have been worse being there and seeing it. A couple of the Gillingham guys who I follow on YouTube, subscribe to, they said that it was a definite red, but it's one of those things. I think when it's against your team, it's always a definite red. When it's your team getting the red card, you tend to be a little bit biased. So Okenabirhie hasn't really complained. He's come out and apologised. Darren Moore's not really complained, so maybe it was a red. Who knows? But other than that, I think it's been a decent signing. I'm looking forward to seeing more of him after his suspension is over. So thank you very much, Charlie, for that comment. Moving on to the next one, this is from Nathan Ward, and this was on the Gillingham preview. Nathan says, have you seen the comments in the free press from Liam Hoden regarding the negative fans in the stadium? Personally, I think we need to get behind them even more when things go wrong, and we're getting towards the business end of the season. And he goes on to say, I think we'll get the win 1-0 or 2-1. We didn't get the win, we got beat. I went for a 2-1 defeat. But in terms of the comments, I did read the article and I'll link it in the description down below. It is a very good read, thought-provoking read. But we'll go through a couple of little snippets of it now. The article starts with Liam saying, there is often an atmosphere in the ground that is bizarre and unfathomable, certainly unhelpful, at times toxic. Before launching into criticism I am about to deliver, I must point out that my experience of the keep mode purely comes from sitting in the press box in the middle of the West Stand, and not for 1 minute would I suggest that everyone is partaking in the behaviour I'll refer to. So with him starting with this, I think it's right to say that it's a minority, but I do agree with him. Sometimes the atmosphere at the keep mode I don't understand. A couple of misplaced passes or a couple of bad touches and the fans just straight on the player's back, and sometimes rightfully so, sometimes not. But he says that this is from kind of the press boxes in the West Stand, and I remember Marquis having quite a bit of beef with a couple of fans down there, went over and celebrated to them when he scored. So I think this has potentially been going on for some time, and for me, yeah, we pay us money, we've got us right to say, to voice his opinions and things, but support the team. So that's simple. Sometimes I think the expectation is a little too high. We are watching League One football, but I don't know. I don't know why he felt it was the time to come out and say stuff that he has in the article. Maybe it is to try and get that extra push coming up towards the end of the season to try and push us over the line into the playoffs. For me, positive season so far. Not the greatest football to watch. I think we were spoiled last year with the style of football McCann played. A lot more attacking, a lot more enjoyable to watch. But I think Darren Moore's got us playing a lot more compact. It shows having the third best defence in League One. I think we're a lot more organised, a lot more disciplined, but sometimes that doesn't lead to fantastic football to watch, and I think we've seen that this season. But on the other hand, I do think Darren's building a team for the future, so hopefully we'll see the benefit of that next year or the season after. In the article, Liam continues and says, if someone dares turn to play a backwards pass, they're greeted with impatient groans even when there was nothing on ahead of them. I think for me the frustration that's coming from this is the amount of times that we've played back to Dieng and put ourselves under a lot of pressure and unnecessary pressure. I think we have got the players with the ability to play forward and look forward, and even when there's a lack of movement from the stands, you can sometimes see potential passes that are on, and it seems like the first thought for a number of players is sideways or backwards. So I think this has come from a long period of time where we've seen players playing backwards, and we've seen, like at Burton, that's the one that comes to mind, where a couple of goals we brought them on themselves, and I think if we'd not brought so many of those occasions on ourselves, we wouldn't see the fans turning so quickly. And then the article finishes with, I'm no one to tell supporters how to behave or what to think. You pay your money to watch your team and within reason have the right to vocalise your feelings as you see fit. But I just find the attitude sometimes baffling, frustrating and disappointing. More patience and encouragement would make a real difference in the same way the opposite does. Plenty has been said about Rovers being more effective on the road than at the Keepmoat. It may very well be because home comforts aren't actually that comfortable at all. And I kind of agree with him. I think the atmosphere can be tough, but I think we can see as fans the potential in the team. We've seen a number of occasions where the football that we play is very, very good, but then for long periods of games we're just not at the races. And I think paying the money that we pay to watch football nowadays, we expect to be entertained, and this season has not been that entertaining, if I'm honest. Like I say, Darren Moore's got us playing disciplined, compact, organised football, and is it something that we may need to get used to over the next couple of seasons, seeing a more defensive approach and hitting teams on the counter-attack? It's not entertaining football to watch, but third best defence in the league, it's effective football. I think we have, as Liam says, we've got to be a little bit more patient and encourage the young talent that we've got, because as we saw against Bolton, Ben Sheaf, I think, had a very good game in the first half, made a mistake, fans on his back, and he just made error after error, and that was just like a virus. It just spread through the team, everybody started making errors, and it was a very nervy last 20 minutes, which should have really been a comfortable game at 2-0 up. So it's a good read. As I say, it's a thought-provoking read. I agree with some points, I disagree with others. The main thing for me to bring out of it is that we have got to support the team. I think encouragement is needed. Who knows where it can get us. For me, we're performing above expectations this year, and with us as a 12th man, potentially playoffs is not beyond us, I don't think. So we will see. There's a few games left at home, a lot of games left away. So hopefully the away form continues. We will see. I'm going to leave the video here. If you've enjoyed it, big thumbs up for us please. Comments in the section down below. If you haven't already, please click that subscribe button. And as always, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.